States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We will start with the consent agenda. Items listed below are considered routine and non-controversial by the city. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless requested by a council member, staff, or citizen. If removed, the item will be discussed at the end of the regular agenda. Item A, 135 First Street North Business Subsidy Agreement. Authorized payment of $25,000 to Mr. George McGuire according to all conditions of an executed promissory note, mortgage, and business subsidy agreement between the City of Winsted and Mr. McGuire, fulfilled at 135 First Street North. Item B, 2026 Property and Casualty Insurance Renewal Contract, Liability Insurance Coverage Waiver Form. Authorize the mayor to execute a liability coverage waiver form allowing the City of Winsted to not waive the monetary limits on municipal tort liability established by Minnesota State Statute 466.04 for the 2026 Property and Casualty Insurance Contract. Item C, 2026 Property and Casualty Insurance Renewal Contract, Excess Liability Insurance. Authorize the city administrator to purchase $1 million in excess liability coverage for the 2026 Property and Casualty Insurance Contract. Item D, 2026 Property and Casualty Insurance Renewal Contract, no-fault sewer backup insurance coverage. Authorize the city administrator to purchase no-fault sewer backup insurance coverage for the 2026 Property and Casualty Insurance Contract. Item E, claims. Approve the claims list for December 2nd, 2025. That is the consent agenda. I would entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'll motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We're going to skip ahead to our department report before we do the public hearing meeting. We have the municipal representative from the Municipal Development Group here to introduce herself and talk a little bit tonight.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. My name is Holly Kraft, and I'm a planning consultant with Municipal Development Group. And I'm here tonight to have a meet and greet if you have any questions of me. John Anderson has decided to retire. His capacity isn't there with his other job that he has. So Joe Faust, the owner, asked if I would be willing to step in to this position. So I'm here to answer any questions that you might have.
How long have you been with the group?
I've been with Municipal Development Group since 2016.
Okay.
My background, I've done mostly planning, economic development, and then I was a city administrator as well in Belle Plaine, community development director in Victoria for 8 years, and then community development director in Belle Plaine for 6 years. So I first started, not to date myself, in the late 90s as the assistant zoning administrator for McLeod County. So familiar with this area as well.
Awesome. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, good luck.
Thank you. Any questions, though, that I can answer?
So you're the contact for the city?
I would be the contact for any planning or zoning items for Municipal Development Group. Mhm.
Will you be doing the inspections?
Not the building inspections, but any sort of planning and zoning items or planning commission items.
Okay.
So for instance, Tom, we're going to have a new build in Westgate, and I just gave Holly the plans, and she'll be checking for setbacks and making sure that they're following all of those zoning ordinances,
Okay.
and then those types of things. And then Safe Built will manage yes, they're putting up a structure that should be safe to live in.
Okay. Well, hopefully you'll be busy next year.
Yes, that would be nice to see some
For
building
many
permits.
years to come, right?
Right.
And Holly you've done some EDA work and different things that I've met with you on, I guess. so.
Yes. Most recently, I was the economic development consultant for Lester Prairie. And so I worked with them and was successful in getting the deed grant for the industrial park, if you've been watching that along County Road 9. So
Where's home?
I live in Arlington.
Okay.
But my day job is in Victoria off of Highway 7. So it's a relatively straight shot for me to come here. So,
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming, Holly. I just wanted you to come and introduce yourself to the group. And
yes. And Neil has my email. So if any questions come up afterwards, feel free to reach out. But I look forward to working with the city next year.
Thank you.
Good night. So next we'll have our public hearing. Would entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
Make a motion to open the public hearing for
Second.
truth and taxation.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Neil, are you doing this or am I? Yeah, so Neil, give us a presentation.
you want to?
No, I do not.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. All right. Going through first, thanks, Mr. Mayor, audience, and council for being here. You too, Austin. Little bit of an overview. Recommended 2026 budget process. We'll talk kind of how we got to this point. Recommended 2026 general fund budget expenditures and revenues, and then recommended 2026 general and debt service property tax levy. And then, now let us to here where we're at this truth and taxation hearing. So in July and August, we start preparing, kind of seeing where we're at for the current year. So in 2025, where we were at, what do we need to adjust? Start bringing things to council. So August 19th was our first work session to review recommended 2026 general fund and our tax levy. And then obviously you guys know we had other talks on the 2nd and the 16th. And talks continued, but our main one would have been on October 21st, where we met for our big budget hearing that included all of the enterprise funds, which are not included in the general levy, with the airport funds, capital funds, fire funds, some general, obviously, and then sewer and water. Included everything. That one was our all-encompassing meeting. And then had another work session just to make sure this is where we want to settle in at. And today we have the truth and taxation hearing. And then on the 16th, the City Council will adopt the recommended 2026 budget and certify the recommended levies. This is the same model that's been used prior to me being here, but 5-year budget model allows City Council to better understand both general condition of the city's budget, but also examine the impact of particular decisions on the financial position of the city. The model makes a variety of assumptions, including, but not limited to, the 1% in fees, fines, and permit revenue. That may be a little bit low, but that's done on purpose, right? Because you want to make sure that your expenses aren't more than your revenues, and you wouldn't want to over-project that. We have 5% fire department per unit fee, 5% general property tax levy is kind of where we're starting, so that when you look at these numbers, they're going to be the ones that we're projecting out for the 27 and 28 and beyond. The 3% materials and supplies going up, employee wages approximately the 6%, and we up the employee benefits to about 11%, and you'll see throughout the presentation why that was necessary. Looking at the budget summary here, I know this can be a lot, but the main things I want to point out are these variances that are highlighted in yellow. These are the ones that we're spending more than we're actually bringing in. Now, these are coming out of funds. Well, these two are coming out of funds that we've been saving in, right? So the capital improvement fund, some of the main things that are going to be purchased out of there would be the new snow plow, another lawnmower. Those were the bigger purchases in there. The street lights that we've spoken about on County Road 1. So those items add up to this, the big number here, the 741. We've budgeted approximately $420,000 to go into that account. So that account will, that balance will go down that $311,000. Airport operations is the other negative one. So in lieu of getting a big influx on sales of fuel or new buildings or something out there, we will be at a negative for $14,000 approximately, just for the operations funding. And then the fire department here, this will also be cutting into their balance of approximately 307. And this big number here is to repair the concrete in their parking lot and garage. Council good?
And in addition to the concrete, soil corrections that are happening. And stuff like that,
Right.
we have concrete.
Correct. It's the whole project. Yep. Soil corrections and basically starting over almost to some extent in that position. So as I mentioned, we have conservative revenue and expenditure assumptions. But what the general fund is taking into account here, implementation of the new 2026 compensation plan. If you guys recall, we're in the second year of that in a study that was done by Flaherty and Hood, and what their suggested 2026 rates would be. We had a 22.99 cost increase in the employee health insurance benefits. So that was a rather large jump. Historically, we've been under that. Reallocation of current resources based on needs and actual history. So really just taking a look and seeing what have we actually been spending and how can we adjust those pieces. And then this supports our current full-time employees, which is 14 right now, and then one additional seasonal position, which will be somebody to do a little bit more lawn mowing for us. Other things that this budget takes into play: support the street capital improvement program as adopted in 2017 budget, economic development authority funding, lawn services with an additional part-time mower, and supports CIP increases to parks, facilities, and trails. As you are aware, we have a trail project with the extension of the loose line from Baker Avenue to McLeod. Some of the facilities pieces that we have might include repairs here and some upgrades here and into the building that we're currently sitting in, and making some of those improvements to Hanlon Park that we've been talking about now for a couple of years. So these are the increases that are over $1,000. Auditing seems to come on here every year. So this is just, the audit is more than this. It's approximately $43,000 to $44,000. But this is the portion that comes out of the general fund. So it's $2,000 there. Other parts of that are allocated to water and our other enterprise funds. We have an election year this year, so we have a $5,000 cost to that, where obviously last year we didn't have an election that we held here, so we had no cost. This professional services, this is the agreement that we put to our portion, I guess, of the county GIS system that they're updating. So we had agreed to put that $3,200. That's where that professional services piece is. I have electric utilities on here a couple of times, but it is really across the board. Excel is going up 9%. So we're going to be on every line item that we have that has electric utilities. That's their, part of the budget going up there. The repairs and maintenance, you guys saw earlier again today, we've had numerous repairs that have been required on our boiler and our air conditioning units here, and just some general maintenance needs that are going to need to take place for this particular building in order to function properly. The CIP transfer went up 375 to that 420. Again, that is helping to take care of some of the projects that we were looking at, as far as that County Road 1 light project, the trail, and again, continuing that funding for the Hanlon Park project. Fire protection went up approximately 5%. And then in the Public Works Department, every other year we are setting aside money for street crack filling and street seal coating, and the $50,000 and $20,000 wasn't covering what we ended up needing to do, so we had to up that number of ways here. City beautification, also an item that we've been over in our budget a few times here. Flowers and different things are getting more expensive, so we upped that part of the budget. The mosquito control this is our actual contract now, so we had to go up to that. And then again, you see the electricity utilities from the public works side of things. This is just a visual of where we get our money from, so where the revenues come from. Approximately 64% comes from property tax. And then we have 28% comes from the state aid and LGA, local government assistance. And fees, fines, permits, this would, and then the miscellaneous revenues. Some of those are, our tower rentals and things like that may come into play. So again, most of that is in the general government, looking at about a 5.63% increase in revenues. Expenditures, I had a fancy chart in here and it didn't really look right because there's so many different categories. So this just gives you a little bit of a breakdown of what we would be having. So this general government, the main portion of this is that $420,000 transfer that goes to the CIP. And obviously the rest of these are public works, public safety, things that they include our wages, administration. So, any questions there? All right. And then this is just another view of the expenditures. We're up 3.19%. That's mostly from the audit. The administration, most of these pieces are going to end up being either the benefits or just employee costs. We didn't add a ton of different things there. The assessor office is, we pay for McLeod County to do our assessments. And the entire county does now, but legal counsel went down a little bit. And that is not necessarily through our litigation lawyer attorney. That would be kept separate in the police department fund. This is more when we need our general counsel. Engineering is at $33,000. It has been for most of the time that I've been here, and the way it looks for our last number of years. We budget the $33,000, but a lot of engineering fees get put into specific project funds. So just so you understand that, general government went up. Planning pretty much stays the same. Public safety up a little bit. Again, a lot of those things are just going to be our wages and different pieces filled in there. So as we project out, you can see here we cut our last year, this 11,000 kind of buffer, the 7,302, leaving us a little bit of space there, just in between what we're spending and what we're bringing in. If you look here, in 2028, we have this big drop off. As far as, okay, now we have $299,000 in revenues. As the council's aware, that is when we were talking about taking on some of those street projects and taking a bite out of that. So I don't anticipate that to look the same, but until we really approve those projects, I wanted to just leave that in there, but I wanted to make sure to mention that that's pretty much, spoken for. So, recommended property tax levy. Per state law, City Council must certify a preliminary property tax levy on or before September 30th of each year. We did that, and we set it at approximately 12%. Then the final property tax levy may be lower than the preliminary property tax levy, but can't exceed it. The city property tax levy is comprised of two parts: the general levy, which is what we're levying for the operating costs, and then the debt levy, which is really money that's spoken for. Not a lot that we can change there. And that equals our total property tax levy. Where these taxes come from, Winston, about half come from homes, 36% come from commercial, and then we have a spot that's zoned ag, and then some non-residential, but homesteads, so lots and things like that. Here's our debt service levy, and as I mentioned, some of these items are falling off, so we will have a couple bonds where our last payments will be in 2027. Some of those refunding bonds. So we also have additional debt that's issued through water and sewer and for water and sewer improvements, and those are paid for out of the enterprise funds themselves. So the fees that residents pay for usage goes directly to those debt services. The debt issues financed by the other ones that we had just spoke of. So proposed debt service levy. Oh, I got these in. Whoa. No worries. This is actually not the debt service levy. I'm sorry, I have these in the wrong order. The proposed general property tax levy would be 8.89%. The debt service levy would increase by 0.22%, resulting in a total property tax levy increase of 6.99%. So down from our preliminary and what everybody would see on their tax statements. Their preliminary tax statements anyway. So again, this is just reiterating the same numbers. 1,688,472 general levy, a debt levy of 446,500, getting us to $2,134,972 for our total levy amount. Looking at other years, including some of those projects in here, estimating, these are all, obviously all of these are estimates, but just for you to look at here. And here's some of the debts that are falling off on the enterprise funds in the next year or two. Okay, those numbers again: 1,680,472 for the general levy, 444,500 for the debt levy, totaling $2,134,192 total property tax levy. This one's a little bit hard to see, but kind of the history and the analysis of where we've been at. We were able to reduce the debt capacity, our net tax rate, I should say, capacity, not much, but a little bit, to that 70%. Accordingly, an estimated median home value of $312,580 in Winston would pay an increase of $149 per year, or $12.41 per month in 2026. The recommended 2026 property tax levy responds to cost pressures, but continues to the strategy established in 2012 to reduce the amount of bonding costs. That's that transfer money that we had talked about earlier. Improves the funding rate for the 2017 street project, improves funding rate for the park CIP strategy, certain recommendations of the fire department strategic operation plans, satisfies the goals of the EDA funding through general levy tax dollars, and reflects difficult economic climates, resulting major inflation factors for a lot of our operations, as you have seen. Looking at this budget cost calculator, and just kind of taking you through some of the other pieces. So the raising of the water rates at approximately, 4% and 3.45 and 3.5 and 3.5 on the sewer rates. So across all of the funds and activities, the recommended 2026 budget results in a total increase of about $243, which is $20.21 or 5.26% per household based on the usage assumptions. I think we used 6,000 in this, which is probably a little bit high, but again, just estimated on the high side. 6,000 gallons of usage. So what's next? This meeting is your opportunity to address your 2026 budget and tax levy concerns with the City Council. City Council will consider this testimony and adopt a final 2026 budget and tax levy at their next meeting on December 16th. Property owners can challenge their assessed values in the spring during the annual local Board of Appeals meeting. That is done at the county, not here, as they are the ones that do the assessment of property values.
Hey, any of us have questions?
No.
Now take this opportunity to invite anybody in the audience to come up to the podium and ask questions. Is there anyone here that would like to do that? Come on up, state your name and address, and what's to talk about.
My name's Milo Durbin. I have a hangar out at the airport, Hangar 23. Just looking at what you just said about the property values of $300-some thousand, and it was only going to go up $140 for the year, something like that.
Now that's going from their value,
Right.
from what they had, yeah.
You have my hangar valued at $99,000.
I do not, or we don't.
Yeah.
Right?
Whoever
The
has
county
it.
does.
Right.
Yep.
Why is my taxes going up $200-some and it's only $99,000?
Is that,
So this is just the city tax. Is it just the city tax that's
Yeah,
going up
that's
that
what I'm
much?
talking about.
See, I tried, Milo, after we had spoken, I tried to look up your stuff. I can't find that because for whatever reason, the
I'll bring it
hangars
to you.
aren't on there.
I'll get it to you next week so you can look at it.
But it's also not going up that, like I had mentioned, because
Right.
it'll be a little bit less. Well, it'll be probably, if we were at 12%, so you'll be roughly at 60% of that amount would go up.
Yeah, because right now my taxes are going up 30.5%, something like that.
How much did your valuation go up percentage-wise?
We went from 76,500 to 99,500.
So
And then what you had me at last
40%?
year was 819 for taxes, and now it's going to be 1,105.
So
The total tax assessment says it's going to be 30.15 at this.
at what it was,
paper.
yeah, the
All right.
primary. And a lot
I
of
know.
that
I
would-
appreciate we had a great conversation the other day, and I want to keep following up on this because I think it's a box on a piece of land that I don't own, that I pay you guys another assessment that'll be coming up for the, is it 18 cents a foot we pay
the
for
rental.
the square foot? Yeah, so
Mhm.
we pay that. That'll be another $600 on top of my 2,288 right now. So it's a little frustrating for, I'm semi-retired, I'm still working when I can, I'm on Social Security, and to see that big of a jump, I have a 12.5 acre property in Wright County, and I'm paying, I think, right around $4,000 for that. Without buildings, it's a farm. And that's assessed way more than what this is. And I'm basically paying for a RAM building that's a box with heat, and I have no utilities, I just have heat, electric. It's no bathroom, no water, no, it's not a house. It was really interesting that, it's taxed that high.
Yeah, and like I mentioned, I think, if your tax, you're looking at your value has gone up
Right.
30%, but that isn't, we don't control that
Oh,
value.
yeah, I
right?
totally understand it. I'm just here to
Right.
complain
I know.
about your part,
I know.
your part.
Yeah, what we talked
your
about. yes.
taxes.
Yeah, I got it.
And I mean, everybody's complaining, but nobody comes here. And that's why I'm sitting here tonight.
Mhm.
I'll send a letter, I'll call. I called you and we had a great conversation. So I
Yep.
thought, I drove all the way from North Minneapolis. I live in Delano and I worked out there today. And so I was like, I got to get here to this meeting. We need to address I know we had talked about the cost for building out there? Did you find out what that is yet?
It's 4,500 for the.
I personally
Yeah,
think you
and
guys should
it's,
really look into lowering it, because I think Litchfield's down to $1 for a 99-year lease or something.
Oh, really?
You should look into it, because there's guys that come out buying these hangars, because it costs more to build than what they're paying for these hangars. And if you could get that cost down in your part, would help generate revenue right away. You know, for the county, for the city, for everybody else. And like we talked about the money I spent in this town, my loan was at the bank here to buy that hangar. I got a $70,000 loan from this bank. I spent a lot of money in this community that I would never spend here if I didn't have the hangar.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I know you're not going to get the answer that you want.
No,
You know
I'm just here.
too, but
if nobody
but
complains.
What I
you
do
know,
want to say is I appreciate you coming out here to
yeah,
voice your opinion. It's
you know,
going to obviously come off a little bit different or better than me just reiterating what you said on the phone. So
right, and it's frustrating because it could push, you know, it'll push me out and somebody else will buy the hangar, whatever. So I don't know.
So, just so the council's aware, there have been a few sales out there, and I think that that's part of what's driving up that the valuation
We
for these
understand.
hangars,
Sure.
which in turn then likewise is driving up a lot of the taxes. But you know, it's not unknown to us that the taxes have been raised,
Correct.
you know, all the way through the city, and
Right.
you know, we try to do our best to keep them as low as possible, and
Right.
still complete some of the projects that we need to do.
So are those a commercial?
They are,
Right
yep.
out there,
They're
so-
they're out there as commercial rate.
So,
Which I don't understand that. Why it's a commercial
Yeah.
building. Nobody's running, I'm not running a business out of there. There's other people that are doing, we've talked
Right,
about, and
yeah.
I'm sure everybody on the council knows
They know
about
that, yep. Everybody's on there
What
for
else
that
could
piece.
it be classified as?
It can't be residential. I don't know
Right.
what else it would be, you know, because you don't have water. There's no.
Yeah, the only thing we have is the AD building to go to the bathroom in.
For example.
I mean, it
like,
could be industrial, but we can't do that either, obviously, because there's not going to be
what is,
industry out
what
there.
is a mini storage complex zoned as? Is that commercial?
commercial. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yep.
Got it.
There's probably no way around it.
what are the dimensions of your building?
48 by 48. I
And sidewall height?
think it's 12.
And it's insulated.
Insulated, yes.
Yeah. You're not gonna build that building for 100,000.
Correct. I know that.
No, I mean, the assessment amount is lower than the actual value.
Correct. Same with my property where I live too.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
You know.
Or most of us.
Yeah. I mean, we're always assessed less than what the value of our properties are.
Mostly.
Yeah.
No.
I'm just here to, you know, voice my opinion. Hopefully it will change somebody's mind and we can get some taxes down because,
Well, we're doing the best we can on our
I
end.
appreciate
mean,
that.
Our expenses continue to increase just like
Correct.
everybody else's,
Yep.
right? So, we understand your situation and somewhat helpless on our end to do much about it, right?
Right.
Other than to listen and
yeah.
maybe convey it to the assessor's office, but
Yeah, and people have said that some of the taxes are cheaper in Buffalo and Glencoe, and I don't know. I have one guy
You know,
checking
that would
into
be
that.
something I actually tried to look at.
You should
Glencoe's
look
too,
into
and
that.
I can't find. I have to get. You know, I could maybe get that through the county, I suppose. I couldn't get it off of where I normally. You know, I can get every other residence. I can get every. You know, almost everybody else's, but I can get it probably directly from them. I just
Okay.
couldn't get it off of the website I typically would use to try to check those values. So it would be interesting to know that for sure
Right.
of what those valuations look like.
And look into what you can do to get more buildings built. And from what I hear, it's like it's a lot of extra money. If it's $4,000 or $5,000 on top, that's a lot of dirt work that somebody could do to build that hangar.
Yeah.
Because we need more hangars. I mean, I have my name on your new ones you're building because I have 5 airplanes shoved into my hangar. Just because that's the only place I can put them. You know, I build airplanes and blah, 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 so. I don't know. Thanks for your time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Glenn, did you have anything you wanted to, no? Okay. Would take a motion to close the public hearing?
I will, real quick, just because I did have a couple of other hangar owners with similar concerns as Mr. Durbin did, so I just wanted to make that sure that that's on record as well.
Okay.
No
Anything else?
motion to close the public hearing?
We have a motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Public hearing is closed. City administrator updates and announcement. Well, pardon me. We also would offer an open forum. Is there anyone here that would like to participate in our open forum this evening? If you'd like, come up to the podium and state your name and address and
The name is Glenn Weibel, 540 First Street North, Winstead. I'm here tonight to share 2 words with you that don't get used very often in this side of the room. 3 years ago, I started attending the council meetings about our sidewalk in the 500 block of North First Street. And I came the next year, and I came this spring. And this spring I was told, going to get done sometime this year. I'm here to say thank you. I know those words don't get used much. On behalf of the residents on the 500 block and myself, the project is done, and compliments to the city staff finishing the grooming of the walk when the concrete was done and they were in planting the seed in the black dirt. They did a very nice job. So, again, I'm just here to share 2 words with you. Thank you.
thank you.
Thanks, Glenn.
All right, is there anyone else that would like to participate in the open forum? Would appear,
Mayor, members of the council, make it very short. Just a reminder, no parking on the city streets between 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. And if you need to park on the street, we ask that you call the police department, 320-485-2600. Thank you.
thank you. City administrator update and announcements.
I don't have much, just this Saturday will be the Missy Winter Festival.
Okay. Tom, do you have anything?
I do not.
Matt?
I do not.
Cafferty? Julie?
Nope.
All right. With that, we would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
We have a motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.